Hello, this is Rabbi Dr. Juan Marcos Brajano Gutierrez, and now we're going to begin to switch our direction somewhat because we're going to start to talk about other subjects besides Sheol. The first one that we wanted to touch was the concept of necromancy or negromancia. The prohibition against necromancy is something that we find in Deuteronomy, in Devarim chapter 18, verses 9 through 12, and it's an example of a biblical passage that does not explicitly refer to the resurrection of the dead or life after death, but at the same time, we can obviously derive this idea from it. Now, we mentioned in the very beginning of the course that Sheol can arguably be derived from other Akkadian forms, which refer to ask. And of course, the idea is to ask of what? Well, to ask of the dead, to inquire, to use a medium or some individual spiritist, if you will, who contacts the dead. And so the Torah here is very clear on the prohibition of this. And we read, Ki ata ba'el haaretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach, lo tilmad la'asot, keto avot hagoyim chachem. When you enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to imitate the abhorrent practices of those nations. And then it continues and it says, Lo yimatze vecha ma'avir beno uvito ba'esh, kosem kesamim, me'onen nachesh chashef. Let no one be found among you who consigns his son or daughter to the fire. And then we read, Vechover chaver, vesheol ov, veshoel ov, veyid oni, vedoresh el hametim. Or who is an augur or a soothsayer, a diviner, a sorcerer. There are many ways we could sort of relate this. So that's why the text includes these variations. One who casts spells, one who consults ghost or familiar spirits, or one who is inquires of the dead. And that's really the key connection, right? Because we're seeking something, and you can see it here. If you can see the Hebrew, Veshoel Ov, you're asking of a particular spirit that's referred to as Ov of Yedoni, and Vedoresh, to seek out what? To seek out the dead, El Hametim. And so then we continue, and it says, Kito Avet, and again, I'm looking because the text is small, Kol Ose Ele. ובגלל התועבות, האלה אדוני אלוהיך מוריש אותם מפניך. And of course, those who do such things is abhorrent to Hashem, and because of these abominations, the Lord thy God is driving out, this is in reference to the nations before thee. So necromancy is apparently something that the Canaanites were quite familiar with and practice. And this is something that is, of course, prohibited in the Torah text, but I think it lends the question as to what the beliefs of the Canaanites were in terms of this ability to contact the dead. Of course, we have the famous story of Sheol, of King Saul, who asked a medium to contact Samuel for him. And so in subsequent slides, we'll continue this theme as we begin to sort of switch now and look to other ideas, because one of the things that's not described is that or that is not really expanded upon in this particular verse, of course, is what is the state of the dead that they can be inquired. We've read passages that said that the dead do not stir, the shades do not move, and yet we read other passages that said that the dead are aware of certain things that happen. Certain individuals come, and they are aware of this. There's an acknowledgement of some sort. So this is sort of the interesting aspect of what does this entail? What is the existence in this afterlife, so to speak? And we'll continue to look at that in subsequent videos.